So I would have gotten to this right when the news broke, but honestly, I thought it was not as bad as it is because I saw a partial ACL tear, and then I decided to actually look at the info. And apparently, Kawhi could miss a decent amount of next season, potentially the whole season, because a grade 2 MC or ACL or partial ACL, whatever language you want to use, 6 months, maybe even 9 months. The comparison that I saw someone make was Spencer Dinwiddie, who was out at least 6 months, I believe. So you're looking at the absolute earliest, maybe mid-January of next season. And that's being optimistic. And even then, it's not as if Kawhi's going to come back and he's instantly ready to go. Of course, he's had a series of lower body injuries anyway. And this really just might be a lost season for the Clippers coming up. I mean, in a way, this was a lost playoffs because of when they missed him, of course. And that's horrible for the organization, of course. I'm sure there's also a conversation between, does Kawhi sign like a 1-year contract and then go for the bigger max in 2023? Does he go for the max right now? I don't really know. I'm going to assume Kawhi is just on the Clippers. But, I mean, you just think about next season, like the Warriors are going to be back. Lakers are still going to be there. Denver's upcoming season is kind of up in the air as well. But, I mean, the Jazz, the Suns, like all these guys, they're going to be there. The Grizzlies, if Jaren Jackson's healthy, because they were good without him for most of the season. If the Pelicans get things figured out with Zion, other teams in the West, apologies if I didn't mention whoever, Dallas, of course. And so, I mean, I don't even know if the Clippers make the playoffs next year. I mean, we'll see if they want to get aggressive with something this offseason, but I mean, sure, like the stuff I was talking about before, you know, potential sign and trade things, if they could shed off some money for like Lowry or DeRozan when I said that like a month ago or whatever. But now that Kawhi's going to be hurt for potentially the whole season, are we sure those guys would want to go to the Clippers in the first place? I mean, if they still wanted to and you could do the sign and trade, then great. I mean, I know there was the Lonzo rumor about 12 hours ago or something, and that would also have to be a sign and trade because there's no other way the Clippers could offer him a contract. But what was I talking about? Oh yeah, just, I don't know how you could beef this team up enough to make another real run at it. I mean, sure, like, Ibaka's back, Terrence Mann. Like, there's some things here, sure, but without Kawhi, I mean, this team, again, might not be a playoff team in the Western Conference. And now you think the first year with Kawhi and PG, that went how it went. Second year, they go on a hell of a run. Kawhi eventually gets hurt. Third year, lost season. That's pretty damn rough, especially given all of the draft picks they traded and Shea and OKC. You still do the move. I don't think anyone's faulting them for doing the move, but that's just rough. I mean, I think now the best case scenario for them is they at least manage something this offseason. I mean, they still have all their expiring contracts. Luke Kennard, Zubac. I mentioned Terrence Mann, even if you don't want to give him up, I know. There could still be something for a trade. They also have a bunch of second rounders, and they can move their first after they use it. So there is something here, but without Kawhi, it's just a lot more bleak, obviously. So best case scenario is they manage some of that stuff well and they get something in here and they just fight and claw their way to the play-in tournament, and hopefully Kawhi can be healthy by then. But yeah, man, if you were just ready for injuries to not be as much of a thing, I mean, Jamal Murray and Kawhi already going into next season, so we're not going to escape the injury bug. I think it's also fair to fear just the future of Kawhi's career. I mean, look, ever since he had that one season with the Spurs where we know there was a quad thing, and besides that, I still don't totally know what happened behind the scenes that season, but it hasn't been great. I mean, even in the Raptors finals run, he was limping at times in the conference finals or whatever that was, and then this year 52 games, and now this. I mean, look, I mean, we're looking at Chris Paul and LeBron going into their deep 30s and still playing really well. I think Kyle Lowry is the next guy who's going to do that. So we should not rule it out for Kawhi, but it doesn't look good, man. I mean, offensively speaking, he may have had his best season with the Clippers this year. Defensively, yeah, he's not what he once was. He has to be a little more selective of when he chooses to go into Terminator mode defensively, but he can do it still sometimes, and he has a baseline of being very good most of the time, right? And who knows what he's going to look like defensively after this. I mean, he's still going to be good, and very good, really, but maybe he would have to be even more selective of when he can ramp it up to another level defensively, so we'll see. The only other thing is Paul George is going to get a crap ton of shots now. This also might give them more of an incentive to bring back Reggie Jackson because they are really going to need points from somebody this upcoming regular season. And yeah, that's it.